Okay, so this is kind of part 2 of what we were just talking about. So we're wanting to look for evidence that we are healing, that we're healed, that this is behind us. And we want to start scanning for that all the time. So when we have a good day, we want to really, really beef that up, tell ourselves, say it over and over, I'm healed, this is behind me. And yes, you're right, I'm healed, look, this is behind me, this is over. You want to really help your brain scan for evidence that this is true and really reinforce it anytime you have a good moment. Now, inevitably, the symptoms are going to come raging back and you are going to fall into that spiral of, oh my God, fighting the symptoms, feeling that despair, the hopelessness. I can't do this anymore. I'm never going to heal, right? It all comes crashing down and it's not your fault. It is so hard. And you do have all these feelings of sadness and just despair and hopelessness and why isn't this working and I want this to work and how can they come back so strong and what am I doing and what did I do wrong, and I get it. But let's stay in the moment for a minute of your body, okay? So your brain is very smart and its job is to try to keep you safe. It's very, very smart and it wants the best for you. It wants to keep you safe. So when you're having those moments and you feel good and you're like, I'm healed with conviction. This is behind me. I am healed. I'm fully healed. This is all behind me. And then, an hour later or whatever happens, the symptoms come rushing back in and you start to feel the emotion of sadness or anger or hopelessness or whatever, and you start to feel it pulling you under. You got to remember that your brain isn't trying to destroy you. Your body is not against you. What's happening is your body is saying, are you sure? It's giving you an opportunity. So every time the symptoms rush in, this is simply your body. It's like a little child who is asking, are you sure? Are you sure we're safe? Are you sure we're healed? Look at all these symptoms. Are you sure we're safe? Are you sure it's over? Are you sure we're healed? And you have to say, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure. And the way that you say, yes, I'm sure, I'm positive, I've got this, we are healed. And not, oh my God, maybe I'm not healed. This is hopeless. We want to stay in that mindset that, yes, I've got this. We are healed. And you want to tell it almost like you're telling a small child, yes. So it comes in with the symptoms. Basically, the symptoms are an ask. So you're confident and you're having a good day and you say, I'm healed. I'm fully healed. I am healed. This is behind me. The symptoms race in basically as a messenger to say, are you sure? And if you turn and look at them and say, yes, I'm sure. You ignore them and you're like, I'm sure. I don't need to focus on you. You're not a big deal. You are not anything. You sort of look to those symptoms with indifference. Like, yeah, I'm sure. It's just, a kid in the room who thinks he sees a monster under his bed. And you come in and you say, look, everything's okay. We're healed. You're healed. Basically, everything's okay. There's no monster. You look under the bed and the kid's like, okay, there's no monster. Turn off the light. A shadow appears. The kids start crying. But are you sure? Are you sure? You turn on the lights. You look again. You say, yes, I'm sure. So basically, your job is to say, yes, I'm sure. Know that the monster and the shadows are going to creep in again to test you. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, right? This is an ongoing pattern with kids who don't want to go to bed and they still hear the shadows and they just want to be sure. So when your symptoms rush in, they're rushing in to say, are you sure that you believe this? Are you sure that you believe this? And you want to say, yes, I do. And the way that you convince your body that you absolutely 100% believe this is to ignore the symptoms and to say, you don't matter. I don't need to focus on you. I don't need to cry about you. I don't need to give you all my attention. I'm just going to keep living my everyday life, living my normal life, and pay you as little attention as possible until the next time I have a good minute, and I'm going to say, yes, I'm sure, and I'm going to reinforce that moment. And inevitably, the symptoms are going to come back in, and they're going to say, are you sure? And you've got to say, yes, I'm sure. How do you say yes, I'm sure? By giving them as little attention as possible, as little attention as you can, going about your day, making sure that they're not the sole focus. You don't want to focus on them. You want to focus your mind on other things, because the other things are more important, and that is nothing. The symptoms are nothing. You don't want to give them your attention. So that's how you tell your mind, yes, I'm sure. I don't need to focus on them. Yes, I'm sure. I'm not going to focus on them. They're not important. They can't hurt me. Yes, I'm sure. And because I'm sure, I'm going to show you, because we're not going to pay attention to them. So, but this is what happens. Sometimes you can do that 2, 3, 4 times, and then you start to doubt yourself again. So you're like, yes, I'm sure. You've ignored the symptoms once. You have another good moment. You reinforce that. You're like, I am healed. This is behind me. See? I'm fully healed. See? Look, here's the evidence. Then the symptoms come in again. Are you sure? The symptoms are saying, are you sure? But are you sure? And you're like, yes. And then you ignore them. And then the symptoms come in again. And are you sure? And this is what starts to happen. You start to say, I guess, I think I'm sure. And you start to focus on them a little bit more. And then it breaks down a little bit more. Are you sure? I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure. What if I do need to pay attention to this? Maybe it's something worse. Maybe it's something really bad. Maybe I do need to go see a doctor. And then the symptoms rush back in again. Are you sure? Because I don't think you're right. Listen to me, look at me. I don't think you should be sure. And soon enough, you're looking at them going, oh my God, you're right. I'm not sure. I'm totally not sure. This could be something terrible. I can't just ignore you. I've got to focus on you. What am I going to do? And you're right back to it. So you have to be solid. You have to try to be solid in your belief, in your confirmation, in your mind that yes, you are sure. Look for evidence that you're healed, that you're healing, that you are healed, that this is behind you. Look for evidence, and then tell your body those symptoms don't matter. It's not cancer. It's not a brain tumor. I'm not going to die. Even if it is those things, I'm not going to die. I'm going to live. They're getting better. They're getting healed. And the symptoms are going to keep coming. Are you sure? Look at us. We don't think you're sure. Maybe you're not sure. It's doubt creeping in, right? And you have to override that doubt and that fear and say, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm not going to look at you today. I'm sure. We're going to find evidence that we're healed. And this has to become the pattern. And when it finally becomes the predominant enough pattern that you're not letting that emotion go and letting that helplessness flood in, and you're just basically riding through the bad days with indifference, not looking at them, and really pumping up the good days, and really taking hold with your belief that you're going to be okay, that you're healed, that this isn't anything bad, that you can do it, that you will do it, and that you are healed already. And once you believe it, your mind will start to scan on its own for evidence that this is true. And it will find the evidence, and every time it finds the evidence, we will break the pattern of it looking for the evidence that it's not true. And once that pattern is broken, you will be set free. So I hope this is helpful. I know it's easier said than done, but it's really important, and I want you to try to give it a try.